And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Market Recap. It's still Wednesday, August the 24th. I'm John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. I hope you had a good trading day. Every trading day seems to have its challenges, and hopefully you were able to overcome some of yours today. Range-bound activity largely in our equities, just able to eke out a positive day for those equities. As far as news is concerned, apparently the president has canceled some loan debt for some debtors. Also, he has paused payment through the end of the year for those that are still going to be paying for those debts. Pending home sales drops 1% in July. They're saying that's the biggest drop since 2011, but my realtor friends are telling me that the market is close to or at the bottom. I'm hoping that that is true. Crude prices looked lower early and then resolved back to the upside. We got the E-mini S&P up 12 points today, 0.25% unofficially. The Nasdaq up 3%. Up 30 points. Hang on a second. Up 30 points. Again, 0.25%. And the Dow futures up 60 points, up 2.5%, approximately. Again, those aren't official or anything. So just kind of thinking about what the markets did today. Crude oil was pretty rangy. It still moved higher, closed higher, unfortunately. The E-mini S&P's weekly kickoff low remains supportive, and the range-bound activity we discussed the market was going to do on Monday has continued through today. Not looking for that to continue tomorrow with GDP and with the Fed meeting in Jackson Hole. Nasdaq range bound around the weekly kickoff low, largely finding it resistant to price above. Gold keeps value the same as yesterday. It was just another kind of rangy day. Just keeps value right where it was yesterday. We're going to see that in the charts in just a couple of minutes. The euro, again, rangy. A lot of rangy markets today. Everybody seems to be waiting for the Fed or for something in GDP tomorrow. The 10-year, one of the markets that was not range-bound, we found finally some acceptance below that weekly kickoff low finally. We'll see that on the charts again shortly. And natural gas, digestive day today after a big down day yesterday. I was really kind of surprised about what moved that market yesterday. But again, we had our friend Kevin Laffey give me some information yesterday about maybe a little bit about how the fundamentals of natural gas works. If they're not going to be able to ship natural gas in October, they're going to have to wait until November, and that's going to kind of keep a lot more natural gas around here in the U.S. I know they could use it elsewhere, but we're seeing a little bit lower pricing because of that situation. As always, if you like what you're seeing, make sure you hit the lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback. Heckling and love are always welcome. We're always asking you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notification when we do go live. This will be the last recap for the week this week. Wednesday's it. Tomorrow we'll be seeing the boys for the podcast, and I'm always looking forward to hearing what they have to say. And again, hopefully you had a good trading day. We have Tacky on here, first in the room. He waited 10 minutes for someone else to be first. Bill Phillips, Vince, good to see you. The Rooster, Broke my winning streak, but still up on the week, protecting gains. Good job, Rooster. Tachyon down 96 for the combine. Now I know that if I sweat before the market because of temperature, it might not be so good of a trading day. Trying to implement half the yesterday loss strategy. Chilling with Dylan. Hopes everybody had a good day. Maria, good to see you. Haggle Matters, good afternoon. And Frederico. And so we can jump into the charts. I usually like to take a deep breath before the trading day starts. I think I'm going to start taking a deep breath after the trading day ends. We always use a lot of mental capital and mental energy throughout the trading day. I'm always tired, even though I'm not that active physically. Mentally, I'm very active. I got to get a little bit more active physically, I'm afraid. Always important to stay in good shape, and I'm not liking the shape I'm in right now. But we're working on that. We're going to get a lot better about that. Let's take a look at the charts. We'll run through those real quick, see what we're looking at, and see what we can maybe see for tomorrow. So here we are with the daily and the S&Ps. Weekly kickoff low, largely holding price. Took one look again below it on the open or after the open today, and then just tried to push higher the rest of the day. Not a big up day, but at least a decent up day. Volume was pretty low today. Let's see what it looked like in the New York Stock Exchange. Yeah, it's pretty low, I think, overall, and I think that's to be expected. We're waiting for some important information in the coming days here. So here's our 30-minute chart. We were looking for balance to remain. That was largely my expectation for today. We had a naked point of control that we traded right to right after the open. Soon as we rejected down there, I had a feeling we were going to go ahead and stay relatively range bound, which meant we'd be looking for a move to the upside near yesterday's high, near value high from the day before that. And then we really just kind of fell into some range bound activity, which is what we were expecting Monday. We said, that we've got a lot going on the end of this week. There's going to be a lot of just range-bound adjusting of inventories, getting out of trades, protecting yourselves for anything that may happen later on in the week, and we are rapidly getting to that later on in the week. Let's take a look at crude oil now. Getting relatively close to this weekly kickoff high. With some fundamental information. Volume was pretty good today. What did we do? We added open interest, but in future months, not necessarily the October, the front month here. So piling up some new longs in the December contract, actually. Here's the 30. Okay. Overnight inventory, none. Just flopped around, set the initial balance, traded both sides of the initial balance. Usually tends to remain range bound in that regard, and it did. It kept extending the initial balance or past the initial balance several times to the upside, several times to the downside. Market seems to be expanding and then resolving higher at the end of the session. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing if we get a real good look at 95.80, our weekly kickoff high tomorrow during regular trading hours. We knew we had the EIA petroleum status report today. They were looking for a loss of 933,000. We had a bigger loss than that. We lost 3,282,000 barrels in crude stocks here in the U.S. We've got the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is at like 40-year lows as far as how much oil is in there. That's a little unnerving, if you ask me. Take a look at the Nasdaq now. Largely holding below weekly kickoff low. Still that same difference here in the S&P and the Nasdaq. Really kind of spanning it today. The market open looked lower, below yesterday's range, did not find acceptance, pushed higher towards yesterday's high, and then just fell into range-bound activity. We're basically range-bound inside Monday, overlapping to higher according to yesterday. No real change in the perception of value in our equities, just different stories leading to the same situation. It's going to be an interesting day tomorrow and Friday, of course. They always are. Kind of goes without saying, but I always keep saying it. Gold. Decent upside move yesterday. Not really bringing a whole bunch of new open interest, really. It's kind of changing hands. An attempt to push lower early in this session fails. Takes out the high of the range from yesterday. But when we look at value high, same. Value low, largely the same. Again, no real change in the perception of value of gold. Knowing what we have tomorrow. Look at the euro. Range bound, range. Still looking for some sort of acceptance below weekly kickoff low or rejection below and a move back to the upside. It's looking like the dollar index closed a little bit lower today, but still it's up above 108 still. Interesting. 10 years, the only thing that really moved out of range. We finally find some acceptance below weekly kickoff low. The yield on the 10-year up to 3.115%. So another move up in the yield in the 10-year, pushing price below our important inflection level. We'll see if we can find some good opportunities. Maybe we can find some fish under this line over here in the next couple of days. And for the natural gas, really just falling into range-bound activity. Big pushback, bearish, piercing pattern, range-bound activity today, just taking a rest after everything that happened yesterday, it looks like. Opening in range, staying in range, staying in value. What do we do with this? What do we do with this? Okay. 8 a.m. calisthenics live. Yeah, I should take Lacey for a walk about 7 o'clock in the morning. But sometimes that steps on my research. I'll always find an excuse. Always find an excuse, Vince. Need to work out with your son. Tachyon answering Federico. He's got his setup, but not fully fleshed. Well, tomorrow is Thursday. It's Make Hogue Money Day. There's the link so you can get registered. We'll look forward to seeing everybody there. Today was a really bad day in Pompeii. At noon on August 24th, 1779 AD. 79 AD. Mount Vesuvius exploded. And we all know what happened to Pompeii, but that was on this day in 79 AD. It's hard to even say that. What else happened today? 2006, they demoted Pluto. They said that Pluto was a planet, but apparently they didn't think he was big enough, so they call him a dwarf planet, something like that. What about music? 1959, a headline in Billboard magazine said rock and roll ain't ready for the old rockin' chair yet. They were thinking that rock and roll was losing popularity in 1958, but Elvis, Fats Domino, Everly Brothers, and the Drifters and Ricky Nelson changed everything for them. 1966, the Doors today started recording their first album. 1967, 17-year-old singer and guitarist Bruce Springsteen joins a group called Earth. 1975, Queen started recording Bohemian Rhapsody today. Freddie Mercury had mentally prepared the song beforehand and directed the plan throughout the session. May, Mercury, and Taylor sang their vocal parts continually for 10 to 12 hours a day, resulting in 180 separate overdubs. Tough song to play, I guess, huh? Huey Lewis and the News had their first #1 hit. The Power of Love, which was featured in the movie Back to the Future. I don't really see too many. Jim Fox was the drummer for the James Gang with Joe Walsh. Today's his birthday, born in 1947. In 2019, Billie Eilish ended the recording, breaking a 19-week run of Old Town Road, featuring Billy Ray Cyrus, when Bad Guy claimed the top spot on the U.S. Hot 100 chart. Song peaked at #2 on the UK chart. It was also a #1 hit in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Norway, and Russia. I gotta tell you, I like Billie Eilish. And just last year on this day, Charlie Watts passed away. The forever drummer with the Rolling Stones. Hope Charlie's playing the big kit in heaven today. All right. Well, it's going to be a quick recap today. Looking forward to what the opportunities are going to be tomorrow and Friday. Prepare yourselves. It's always about risk management. It's always about protecting capital. You want to make sure that you're here the next day to be able to trade, and stay cool. Anger doesn't help. It's all about being cognitive and being thoughtful in the things that you're doing, and always asking yourself, especially when you're starting to get a little upset, if what you're about to do is in your best interest. Ask yourself before you do anything, verbally, audibly, is this in my best interest? If you're playing around, if you're trading around your wife or your kids or something, they may think you're a little bit crazy, but you are, because you're a futures trader. But that's something we all have to deal with. So always ask yourself, is this in my best interest before I take that trade? Only takes a second. All right? All right. Sorry Jerry is awake. Bad day. Maybe asking yourself if what you're about to do is in your best interest might help. No. Anyways, blessings to everyone. Be kind to yourselves. We work hard at this. We deserve to be nice to ourselves. Of course, be kind to others. Say a prayer for peace and peace within yourself. See you tomorrow morning at 7:45. See if I can get a little calisthenics done before the forecast tomorrow morning. And get some good sleep tonight. Spend some time with your family. Call your mom. Call that old friend you haven't talked to in a while. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a good night.